Unit 8, Topic 7, Squares. A square is a very special parallelogram that is both a rectangle and a rhombus. It has all of the properties of each. Let's look at those properties now. So because a square is a parallelogram, the square is going to have one pair of opposite sides that is both parallel and congruent. It will also have all four sides parallel to each other. Opposite sides will be congruent. We can see that all four sides are marked opposite sides congruent, opposite sides parallel. Opposite angles are congruent. So for instance, across from each other, both would be the same value. And we'll see again, across from each other, both would be the same value. Adjacent angles are supplementary. So if we take two angles that sit next to each other and add them, they'll have to equal 180 degrees. And the diagonals will bisect each other. Because it is a rectangle, diagonals are going to be congruent. That means all four pieces of the diagonals have to be exactly the same thing. And in a rectangle, all of the angles are 90 degrees. Because it is a rhombus, the diagonals bisect the angles. So we can see every angle that a diagonal hits is divided into two equal parts. All four sides are congruent in a rhombus, so every side will be equal to each other. And in a rhombus, the diagonals are perpendicular. That means the diagonals hit each other at 90 degrees. So let's use all of these properties to solve. Find the values of x and y in the following square. So let's start with x. Because opposite angles are congruent, right? So that means that angles that are across from each other are equal. And because the diagonals bisect the angles, all angle halves are congruent, right? So we're going to find that 5x has to equal 3x plus 18. So to solve from x, we need to get all of our x's on the same side. So subtract 3x from the left, and what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we're left with 2x equals 18. To get x completely alone, we'll divide both sides by 2. And we find that x equals 9. All right, solving for y. Because the diagonals are bisected, so this is actually a characteristic of every parallelogram. Because the diagonals are bisected, divided into two equal halves, each diagonal piece is equal. Right? So we're going to find that 2y will equal 10. Solving for y, we'll divide both sides by 2, and we find that y is 5.